Hello and welcome. It's another webinar from treeservicedigital.com. I'm your host, Wesley Smith. And today we're going to be talking about everything local service ads. So thanks so much for spending some time with us today. If you're on YouTube, like and subscribe to our channel. We've got a lot of interviews coming up with experts and more marketing tips, tricks, and hacks coming up on webinar trainings and short clip videos. And I'll go ahead and share my slide with you here. That way you guys can see what's going on. All right, here we go. So this is going to be the ultimate guide to Google local service ads success. And I put on here from zero to hero within 30 minutes, just because a lot of times, with your Google local service ads, there's some main important functions and features that you want to be aware of and optimize and make more efficient to get more lead flow coming in for your tree service business. But typically, there's only a few levers, right? And there's several levers that you kind of have to make sure you optimize and pull, but we're going to go over everything that's important today that's going to get you the best results in your local area. So thanks so much for joining us. See a few more people popping on. How you guys doing? If you guys have any questions during this training, there is a question and answer box at the bottom. There's also a chat function. So if you have any questions, pop them in there and I'll be happy to answer those as we take a couple of pauses or a quick little sip of water or something like that. I'll read those answers or questions and then reply back with an answer. So we'll get right into it. The ultimate guide to Google local service ads success. And this is part of our digital dominance method, which if you've seen any of our other videos, we usually go through this just really quick. And there's about 9 different levers in advertising and marketing for your tree service business. And if you're pulling all 9 of them, you're really going to have the best chance for success because people look in all different areas and all different methods. Some people like to look on Google search. Now we've got AI search platforms. We've got direct mail, different things like that. So people have different mediums they're on every day. So you want to be everywhere. You get your foundation, which is your website, reputation, all of that. Number 2 are your paid ads, which are very big in your local area. Number 3, retargeting all previous website visitors and landing page visitors and people that have engaged with your social media channels, retarget all those people. Paid online directories, some of these things you can tap in to get increased lead flow. Repeat and referral business, always good to tap your current customer base for more business, more referrals. Number 6, pay per lead. There's pay per lead services out there you can tap into as well. Social media advertising, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, social media ads. 8, referral program. So, have a program for your current customers to get more referrals. Number 9 is direct mail. This is very good for blanketing zip codes and local areas to get more calls coming in and just kind of create that awareness in your local community. But that's kind of the digital dominance method there. And need your attention, please, though. If you're on this call, that means you really want to get the best out of your local service ads. So if you're serious about doubling or tripling the leads that you pull from your local service ads, then the next 20, 30 minutes are going to be critical. This is not a humongous long webinar. It's just going to be a chunk and a good bit of information about local service ads. It's not our main one where we're doing everything on there. Here's what we're going to cover today, though. We're going to cover what Google local service ads are, if you don't know already, where it's active, how it works, how you can jump on board if you have not already, or maybe you did it 2 or 3 years ago and you haven't been, re-verified on there. What it takes to rank in the top 3 results. How you can take advantage of high quality leads at a low cost per lead and maximize your ROI to truly win with local service ads. And some of the recent changes on the LSA platform that you need to be aware of. Local service ads, the abbreviation is LSA, just in case you were wondering there. Who am I and why should you listen to me? Well, I've been in digital marketing for over 12 years, roughly 15 years at this point. I'm the author of 2 books in the space on digital marketing. The newest one is the Accelerated Growth Roadmap for Tree Service Companies. And then we've got our original book, How to Win with Internet Marketing for Tree Service Contractors. And any of those 2 are available on Amazon for $2 or $3, the e-version. If you want a hard copy or a paperback, just reply back to one of the invitations to this webinar. If you get our email, I'll be happy to send one of those out. We have a nice little box we send out and a couple other goodies with the book. So if you want a copy, shoot me an email, or you can go to treeservicedigital.com and there's a link to click there to get your free book. But we specialize in tree service and arborist internet marketing only. So that's all we work with, just tree service companies. We decided to do that back in 2018, just work with tree service companies because we were getting really good results. And we've worked with over 100 tree service companies across the United States, and we know what works to generate a flood of new business for your company. And these are just some of the logos we've worked with or are working with currently in the tree service space. And this is what we do all day, every day. So SEO, website development, social media marketing, Google Ads, AI, search now, email marketing, text marketing, website design, reputation and review management, because getting five-star Google reviews really helps everything with your digital marketing. So those are some of the things we do. So, what are Google local service ads? You may be asking. If you're on this call and you've got an established tree service business and this has skipped you or escaped you, or nobody inside the office and the marketing department has ever set this up for you guys, you may be kind of unaware of what it exactly is. And so basically, it is a local service ad. It's a local result on Google search. So when somebody searches on Google in your market or anywhere for that matter, tree service near me, tree service Houston, Texas, wherever they're located, whatever they type in for tree service and they hit search, the local service ads are the absolute first result below the search bar. So this is the first thing that pops up. So if you want this kind of visibility, and it's very beneficial for this kind of visibility, it really brands your company. It shows your business name and your reviews all day, every day, depending on your budget. So people can see this over and over and over again in your local community in all of your target service areas. So it's very, very efficient at getting lead flow and branding your company all at the same time. So if you can see right here that it shows 3 results, and I'll kind of show you the pecking order of usually who it shows at the top here. Sometimes in some markets, there's 10, 20, 30 tree service companies that are verified on Google local service ads. So how do you get up in the top 2 or 3 if you're 20, 30th, in the local markets? This is how it looks. It's the first set of sponsored paid results on the Google search page. Why does it matter? You may be asking. Well, 87% of consumers search Google when looking for home service providers. It is the #1 place your customers are looking when they need your services. Local service ads come up first in the search results, just like we showed you right there on top, on mobile and on desktop searches. There is no higher intent prospect than the customer who is proactively searching and looking for your services at that moment in time. So you must have a plan to win with Google local service ads. So where is it active? Well, it's pretty much active all across the US at this point. When it first rolled out for tree service, maybe 4 years ago-ish, something between 2021, something like that, it rolled out for tree service. It was only available in like sparse areas, like very populated. I think they had like New York, LA, maybe like a couple of, Houston or Dallas, places like that. And then eventually they rolled it out across the board, all across the United States. And so now it's basically in every single city or suburb or anywhere you're at in states and things like that. So it's probably in your market, so you probably can find it. So this is how it impacts search results, kind of like we showed you before. People searching for tree removal, tree trimming, whatever categories you select on the Google local service ads dashboard when you get your account verified, that's what it's going to trigger your ad to show for. So if people are typing in tree removal, people are typing in tree trimming, people are typing in land clearing, tree planting, if you do some of those types of things, your ad is going to show right there at the top. So here's how they work. There is kind of a vetting and a verification process. So if you've never been verified on here, here's how it goes. You must complete the Google local service ads application. So when you first click on the link to sign up, and I'll show you where that is here in a minute, you basically have to fill out your business details and a few other things. Google will then run a background check on you and the other owner if there's multiple owners. This is employees. Some niches other than tree service will require the actual employees to honestly do the background check too, but it's very time consuming because then they have to have every single person do it. We don't have to do that in the tree service space. Just the owner or owners have to do it. But it's a license check, background via Pinkerton Consulting. So Pinkerton is a third-party background check provider, which just does personal background checks on people to make sure there's no criminality or felons that they put. Because Google's kind of putting their neck out there verifying all these people, which is why it used to be called Google Guarantee. We guarantee these are tree service companies who are on the up and up, have a good reputation, are going to do you the right way. But you also have to have a proof of your insurance. So make sure you have your, copy of insurance, COI available, and then you can put that on there. Again, the business owners must complete a background check. Once it's approved and if active in your area, you will pay on a pay per lead basis. So it's per call or per message lead these days. And you have the option to turn one or the other off. We've seen, anywhere between $45 and $50 all the way up to $75 to $80 per lead. So it just depends on your market. Some areas it's cheaper per lead if there's less competition. Other areas it's more expensive per lead if there's more competition. So just keep that in mind, depending on your population in your area, population density type thing, and tree service companies that are actually running the ads. And the price is going to vary by city, right? It's really no rhyme or reason. Some areas it'll be we have some clients getting $30 leads on Google local service ads, $28 leads, but it's not the norm. So typically the average is around $45 to $75 per lead, depending on the market. And so, how are you charged for local service ad leads? Well, what you do is you set a weekly budget that limits the total number of leads you receive in any given week. So basically with this, it's a little different than the Google ads. The Google pay-per-click ads, you're typically saying, okay, I just want to spend $1,000 a month. So then you have to back in the numbers and say, okay, I need to spend about $50 per day because it's going to run Monday through Friday, which is 5 days. So that means I'll spend about $250 a week, times 4 weeks ish, depending on how many business days are in the month. And so that's about $1,000 a month on the Google ads. With Google local service ads, you're setting a weekly budget. So if you say you want to spend $1,000 a month on local service ads, then you would just put in $250 per week. So example, if you're good with $2,000 per month budget, then you would put in a $500 per week budget on there, which is roughly $71 per day if they're running every day. And the cost per lead there would be $35. So you would get 57 leads per month, 14 leads per week, 2 per day. And once the weekly budget is spent, you go offline, right? It just doesn't show your ad anymore at the very top. So if you're okay with paying per lead, we normally suggest just maxing out your budget on there. So if you put $500 a week and you're hitting $2,000 every single month, you may want to inch it up to $2,500 a month, which would be $600, $625 per week. That way you can see if you're still hitting your top budget, because again, if you're not getting the calls, not getting the leads, you're not paying any money, so it's really just, it's really efficient that way where you're not paying per click like on the Google Ads platform. You may get a different number of leads from day to day, but you never spend more than your designated weekly budget. So what Google promises is, and this is kind of how it works on the Google Ads platform as well, is whatever you put your budget in there for, it's going to average that out for the month. So if you have a $500 a week budget, for example, some weeks, if it's heavy search volume, heavy clicks, heavy calls, they may let it go up to $600 that week, even though you have a $500 a week budget. But the next week and the week after, they're going to start inching it down under 500 allocated budget, just so you get back into your average run rate for the month. So we've seen it happen like that, especially if there's a spike in calls from a storm that rolls through, some hurricane prone areas, tornado areas, any kind of storm like that. Typically, it'll just kind of fluctuate a little bit week to week. But Google's AI now they have in there is automatically disputing leads that are out of area or not a service you offer based on the recorded conversation. So just make sure when you're talking to those customers that call, and we always coach our clients with this, if somebody calls and it's kind of you're on the fence about whether or not you want to service them or not, just quickly get off the phone with them if you know it's a Google local service ads call, because the quicker you get off the phone and you say, no, I'm sorry, thanks for calling in, but we just don't service that area. No, I'm sorry, we don't provide that service. The quicker you get off that call, the higher percentage chance they're going to credit you back for that lead, and so their AI will detect that pretty quickly, credit you back. But if you speak to that lead for 4 or 5 minutes, just kind of walking them through some other options, or maybe call this other company, or maybe go look for companies in this other area, we just don't service that area, and you're talking to them for quite a while, typically they're going to charge you for that lead. But there's a way around that too to go ahead and get that reversed, and we're going to show you that in just a second. What leads don't count? So here's Google's actual printout of the dispute category. So basically, if it's a call that's a solicitation, which you don't get a ton of those on this platform, I will say we do monitor this. There's not a ton of spam sales calls on this platform because most people know this is an ad. This tree company is paying for this ad. We don't want to click and call them and try to sell them something like insurance or something different, right? Like, I mean, It's just kind of rude to do that on somebody's ad. It's costing them money and it's not somebody looking for tree service. But here's what they say. So if it's a solicitation and the call was from a wrong number, credit. Caller was trying to sell you a product or service, credit. Call was from someone seeking employment, like, hey, they're looking for a job, that's a credit. Caller didn't discuss your business at all, that's a credit. If it's a spam call is pre-recorded, it's got one of those like recordings on it that starts talking as soon as somebody picks up, that's credited. Was not from a live human, that's spam, that's all credited. Location not served. So if they call in and they're looking for service outside of a selected service area in your Google local service ads profile, so you select all your service areas, somebody calls and it's outside that area, they're gonna credit you back as well. They told you their location, the location wasn't listed on your profile, and you declined the job, they're going to credit you. Service not offered. So they also credit you back if you don't provide the service that they're calling in about, or you have that category unselected, like stump grinding, tree planting, something like that. If you have that unselected on your profile, they're not going to charge you and they'll automatically give you a credit for that. So those are some of the ways that they say they do it. You do have to keep an eye on it just in case, though. Here's feedback from active users. And again, guys, if you have any questions as we go through these, just pump it in the question and answer box or the chat box. Happy to answer. See a few more people have hopped on. Thanks for joining us today, guys. Feedback from active users are it's typically a lower cost per lead than the Google ads. And it's not always the case, but I would say 60 to 70% of the time in most markets, local service ads are going to be lower cost per lead than Google ads. It's higher quality leads than like an Angie or a Yelp where you're paying per lead. So people usually have that feedback on this platform. There are still some price shoppers, and you have to follow up quickly with the leads because if you don't, they're just going to go down the line and call other tree service companies. And you don't want that. We don't want to lose clients to our competitors. But there is a solid return on investment from most of the clients who have answered the phone and responded to leads as soon as possible. So most people do answer their phone live, but if you're not answering the phone live and you enabled the message leads on your platform, you want to make sure you're responding to those message leads very quickly because the longer they sit, Google then starts kind of monitoring all of this. And if you don't respond to those message leads that you've enabled and said that you are open to taking, then they start kind of pushing your listing down because they want active communication on this platform. So just make sure you do respond to the message leads. Next slide is why this is a no-brainer for most tree service companies. Well, you show up at the exact top of the page where your clients are looking first, right? It's a no-brainer. It's a digital billboard with your business name, your ratings and reviews, and all of that. You only pay per lead. So if you're not getting any calls, the good news is you're not paying for anything, right? You get the call, you pay. If you don't get any calls, you're not paying. That's nice. Lower cost per lead than PPC. So pay-per-click marketing on Google Ads platform, usually you're getting a lower cost per lead with the Google local service ads we've seen. You have higher quality leads typically than Angie or Yelp. With Angie and Yelp, people have to go to that website, type in their zip code, and then put what type of tree service they're looking for, and they hit submit. They don't even know what tree service company is going to be calling them, but usually they get 4, 5, 6 calls within 5 minutes from local tree companies, and they have to talk to all those different companies. So it's kind of annoying, because people are just hammering their phone. With this, they're calling you direct. They're clicking on your ad, hitting the phone call button, and then it's calling your office. So they're less likely to talk to a bunch of other tree service companies if you answer the phone live each time. There's the ability to modify your budget based on schedule. So you can increase, decrease your budget anytime you want. Hey, a big storm just rolled through. We are covered up for the next 3, 4 weeks. You reduce down your budget on there. Don't pay for a bunch of leads that you can't service anyway. So you can, normally, let's say you're paying $2,000 a month on local service ads. We're going to drop it down to $750 a month right now because we have a full schedule. We're booked out for a month with storm work. We don't want to pay for any more leads, or you're going on vacation or whatever the case may be, right? So it's a no-brainer. Typically what we see. So the next question, how do you get set up in your local market? Well, if you work with us, we do it for you. It's a total white glove setup. We set the whole thing up for you. The only thing you have to do is click on the link to do the background check because we can't put in your sensitive personal information. But if you want to do it yourself and you have an office staff that can handle this for you, then basically I would suggest the link always changes. So I had this link on here before, but it continues to change. So if you just go to Google search and just type in Google local service ads login or just Google local service ads, either way, you'll see a link there that pops up at the very top, and just click on that and it'll say step one, enter your email address and create a username and password. And then from there, it'll walk you through the steps. So this is kind of what the page looks like once you click on it. And it still has this AdWords link for some particular reason. AdWords isn't even the name of their ads anymore. It's just Google Ads, not AdWords. But it's always stayed the same. This URL, this link. The link changes, but for some reason it always starts with AdWords. But anyway, when you click on it, you'll see this welcome sign and then connect with more customers. And you'll just hit continue. And this Google Guaranteed is going away as well. They're kind of phasing out that term, Google Guaranteed, which we'll get to here in just a minute. But you click on this, and then it'll just walk you through signing up. You'll have to integrate it with your Google Business profile, which is your Google Map listing. And after that, it just kind of walks you through the setup process. There's several steps to do. Just make sure you got your copy of insurance, all that stuff too. So how does the ranking work? How do you get at the top to get the majority of the calls or a good portion of them? Well, your proximity to the potential customer's location is also important. So if somebody's standing in your market, where you service, and they type in tree service near me, tree removal near me, boom, they're going to see some results up at the top of the page. That is likely going to be your listing sitting there if you've got enough reviews to kind of compete. And that's how that part works. If your review score and the number of reviews you receive is highest in the market or kind of in the top 5, top 10 in your local area. So if you have good Google Map reviews, your Google business profile has got a lot of reviews, high rating, those are typically the one Google's favoring. And pretty much, you can kind of see why. I mean, they don't have a whole lot of other ways to determine who's the best tree company. So if you have good reviews, high rating, they're typically going to rank you up there. Your responsiveness to customer inquiries and requests is also important. Your business hours, right? If your business hours are open, a lot of our clients will do 24/7 because if there's a call that comes in the evening, it's probably going to be an emergency call a lot of times. So they just open it wide open. And you very seldom get calls that late at night, things like that. But if you do get one, it's probably a good one. And they can just go to your answering service anyway if you need to. Whether or not we've received serious or repeated complaints about your business. So Google, if you get a lot of complaints, bad reputation online, bad rating, they're typically not going to show it that often. In addition to these ranking factors, Google will attempt to spread out the leads you receive over time. So this is to prevent you from spending your entire budget early in the budget period. So for example, going back, if we have a $2,000 a month budget, which is $500 a week, sometimes they're going to throttle back your leads. If you've already spent $500 by Wednesday or Thursday, they're going to start, not showing it on Thursday and Friday, or if you do it 7 days a week type thing. So just have to kind of monitor that. And if you're hitting your budget consistently and you're like, man, I really wish I got more calls this week or this month, then just, inch it up 25%, inch it up 50%. That way you've got more calls, more room for more calls, I should say. So you may see your ranking affected a little bit or your ads paused temporarily if you've already hit your budget for that week. So this is the ultimate guide to Google local service ads success. A couple more tips here and what has changed. So how are you going to win with local service ads? So make sure when you're setting up your profile, you dial in your service area. So select all the cities, zip codes that you target. Your profile, make sure you upload photos and put a budget in there. I've seen a lot of times where people forgot to even put their budget in their profile, and then the ads just aren't running or they're not getting any calls, and it's just a simple change. You got to go make sure you put your budget in there. Mark your jobs as booked. This used to be a big deal, but nowadays not quite as much, but I think it's a good idea. And we do this for our clients in most cases, depending on their kind of like longevity of their ads and everything else. But if you go into the job part, you can archive old jobs or mark them as booked and sold. And that just kind of tells Google that, hey, this is working. We're staying on top of this. And in the past, they used to favor some of those profiles, but it seems like today it's a little different. It's more on the messaging feature. Make sure you deal with disputes, right? So they're going to automatically credit your account. I'm going to show you what that looks like here in just a second. And you can also kind of rate the lead if you get one that they did charge you for that you don't feel like you should be charged for. There's a way you can kind of proactively mark that as a bad lead. Drive verified reviews. So one of the most important factors is how many recent reviews you've been getting on your Google business profile. That's a big deal. Make sure you get a bunch of reviews on there, and that's going to help you get more calls on the local service ads. Respond to message leads quickly. So when you get the messaging feature enabled on your Google business profile, in the past, it was just calls only. And then they enabled a feature called message leads where people can simply just click on it and then just shoot you a quick text message to your account. And then you get a notification that you just got a new message lead. So when you get that notification, usually it comes right into your email. And then you can just respond directly to the email that you get from local service ads. Hey, thanks so much. Yeah, we can come out and give you a free estimate. What's your best phone number? And then they'll reply back with that. And then you kind of get into a conversation and then you can schedule the appointment that way. Or you can just log in to Google local service ads and start responding that way. But they did away with the phone app, which to me was kind of inconvenient because if you have the app on your phone, you can always get notifications of those message leads, kind of like a text message, and you could just go right into your local service ad app and respond. But they did away with that last year. So that's gone. So you just have to either respond to the email that comes to your email, and that'll actually respond to that message, or you get to log in to local service ads. Some people just keep it as a bookmark in their Google Chrome browser, Firefox, Microsoft, whatever. Just keep a bookmark, and that way you can click on it every day, go in there and respond. But that really is what helps. So number one, dial in your profile. As we just mentioned, make sure you put everything in there, your budget, your reviews. You got to sync it up to your Google business profile and put some images on there and open it up if you have capacity, right? These are really cost effective leads in most cases. Update your ad schedule. Make sure your schedule is good and you've got it open for the times that you want calls coming in. Set up your business bio. Make sure you put some information in there about your business. Normally, it brings in now your Google business profile description, which is basically like a little small write up blurb, I guess, for lack of a better word, blurb, like a paragraph or two about your business. It'll bring that into your local service ads platform, but you can probably type in some additional information and select your job types. So usually, tree trimming, tree removal, land clearing, I don't think is actually a category, but any of those that make sense for you, cabling and bracing. Some people open up stump grinding, stump removal because they feel like they can just get on site, sell more tree work, even if it is just a stump removal quote. Other people don't because they don't want to spend money on leads for small jobs like that. But there's a lot of options there for categories and set up your service areas. Make sure you get those accurate and really type those in so you have your service areas dialed in. And update your business hours. Make sure you got that wide open. Again, if you don't want to take calls after 6 p.m. or something like that, 5 p.m., that's okay. You can just put, 8 to 5 or whatever in there, your business hours. But, a lot of our clients really like having it 24/7. It just seems to run a little bit more efficiently when it's 24/7 for some reason. I don't know. I guess Google favors the ones that are just willing to take calls all the time. And add photos. There's a place where you can upload photos, and it's just always good to upload photos, make it more personal, stuff like that. Number two, mark your jobs as booked. Again, this is not quite as important as it used to be, but you can still mark your jobs as booked, or you can archive those jobs when you're inside the lead. So you click on each lead and you just mark it booked, and then it'll ask you for a date. Just type in a date of today or something, whatever's easiest, and then just be done with it. And that really helps just a little bit as well. Google will rate your responsiveness by how well you complete your jobs and respond to new leads. Mark them as booked or scheduled. Add the customer details if you want to go the extra mile there to keep up with it. But usually you're putting that in your CRM, of course, and include an email address if you want. That way you can send them communications if needed and archive the non-converted opportunities. Number three, deal with disputes. So I'm going to show you kind of the new way this looks now, and you want to make sure you deal with any of the credits and disputes. So Google AI credits the leads now. So they have like this AI listening tool that listens to all the calls, which we do as well, just to make sure everything's on track with the leads and things like that. But they kind of credit you automatically now if it's outside your area, not a service that you provide. But there is a place in the bottom, and I'm going to show you again in a second here. When you click on each lead, you can rate the lead. It has like this button that says rate this lead. And if it's a bad lead, you can rate it as bad if they've charged you and sometimes get credited for that. So usually about 4 times out of 10, 5 times out of 10. So almost half the time you can get that lead credited back if you rate it as a bad lead. You just got to stay on top of it. All right, here's how it looks here. So when you click on your dashboard of leads, when you go to the second, the left-hand side menu and you click on leads, this is what you're going to see. These are all the leads that came in each day. But you'll see here, so far, you're expected to receive an $828 credit to spend towards leads next month. So basically what this means is they have an ongoing real-time lead crediting system. And then the start of next month, September, which would be Monday, starting Monday, every time you get a new call coming in, it's going to accrue down from the $820 credit you already have. So you don't even really start paying for leads until like that second week if your budget's $800 a week, for example. So really, really helps. I mean, it does kind of automatically do it these days, which is nice, but you do still have to stay on top of it. I will say that. And then also, when you click on each lead individually, so the previous page, if you click on any of these leads right here and drill down into it, you can listen to the call recording and all that, but you can also rate the lead right here. So you click on rate this lead, and when you click on that, you'll be able to put bad lead, good lead, or whatever. And if you click bad, like a thumbs down button, I think it's thumbs down, thumbs up. When you click thumbs down, they'll look at it and then a lot of times go ahead and give you that credit. So that's kind of how they're doing it today, automatically crediting, but you can also rate the lead if you feel like you got shafted or you had to pay for a bad lead or something like that. So, the last but not least is drive verified reviews on your Google business profile. So, these days you can't get reviews anymore directly on your local service ad account. It used to be you could get leads on local service ads account and on your Google map listing, which is your Google business profile. They've eliminated that. So now on your local service ad account, those reviews you got solely on there are not going to show up anymore. They're kind of like taking them off and stuff slowly but surely. So get them on the Google business profile. That's really the best way to do. So drive verified reviews. Number of reviews on your Google business profile is a major driver of your ranking in local service ads. It's really huge because some people may have 1,000 reviews in the market, so Google really only has kind of that to look at. So if you think about it, the more reviews you get and the higher your rating is, the more likely you're going to show up at the top there. So it's really, really important to focus on that. And one of the things we recommend is getting some sort of automated review automation tool where every time somebody pays an invoice on your CRM or QuickBooks, it automatically enrolls them into one of these third-party review automation tools. That way you don't even have to think about it, right? It just happens, without any effort at all. They're going to get review notifications to give you a quick review. And if most of them are worded really professionally and good. And we've got clients getting 10, 20, 30, 40 five-star reviews every month because it's all review automated. And there's other ways you can do it too. You can do a leave behind when you're collecting the invoice, when you're on site. Hey, would you mind giving us a quick review? All you could do is scan this QR code. It would really help us out. Thanks so much. And stuff like that. So that really, really helps. And, of course, goes without saying, provide great service, you'll get more reviews. One of the changes are, though, we just talked about this. Google only allows reviews from one place now. So your Google business profile, which is essentially your Google map listing. That's what shows up on the maps with your, 5-star rating and 274 reviews or whatnot. So you can't get reviews only on the LSA anymore. So here's how to get more lead flow from your local service ads account. Open up your budget. I know we've talked about this already. I don't know that you will find a lower cost per qualified lead. So if you're willing to spend $3, $4, $5, $6, $8,000 a month on calls, just open that puppy up. Maybe start it at $500 a week. If you're hitting that budget, put it at $1,000 a week. If you're hitting that budget, put it up even higher. Now, normally, it's going to depend on the population density in your service area. So if you're in a rural market, you won't get quite as many calls as you would if you're in a more like urban market with a higher population. So just keep that in mind. There's a lot of leads to be had, but some areas are more sparsely populated than others, and others are more heavily populated than others. So you just got to be aware of that. But expand your service areas, right? If you're willing to go a little bit further out, expand the job types that you do, ad schedule and business hours. All of this kind of helps bring in more leads with your platform. And close out every lead, booked, scheduled, archived, just kind of, go through that once a week or, a couple times a month and just mark those calls as booked or scheduled. Google appreciates that. They know it's working at that point. And request verified reviews on your Google business profile after every single job, and just make it a point to do really good work and just frame it as, hey, did we give you guys 5-star, service today? Yeah, you guys did a great job. You cleaned up well and everything. Would you mind giving us a quick review on our Google business profile? We'll send you a quick text message and gosh, we'd really appreciate it. It really helps us out. Or if you've got a card on you, we have these cards we also mail out to our clients where they can just get them scanned on site. they can literally scan that card, QR code, and it pops up your Google review thing right there. Boom, they can do it right there when you're there, right? Because you're asking them and they're more likely to do it when you're standing there. So again, it works really well. So what has changed? Those are the new updates there. So one, Google only brings in reviews from your Google business profile on the maps. So if you see any reviews missing from your Google local service ad account, like, oh man, I used to have 170 reviews on here. Now I've only got 150. Well, 20 of those must have got removed because somebody left those reviews on your local service ad account versus your Google business profile. So any of them that got removed were the ones that were on your LSA directly. Google Guaranteed slogan is now being phased out. So don't be alarmed if you look and you see this dashboard right here. So right now it looks like this. Tree service near me was the search here. And you can see you don't see the green check badge anymore. You don't see Google Guaranteed anymore. So they're kind of phasing out some of those old terms that they had and some of the other things. I don't know why. They're usually up to something when they do this. So we're staying on the forefront of this, making sure we kind of know what changes are coming, probably pivoting over to Gemini AI search a little bit with these ads. So there's probably something they're doing, or there's some angle they're doing it for. But we're on top of it, staying on top of it, watching it every day. So you'll just kind of see this now where everybody's verified, and it'll just kind of show, all these things right here. So Google Guaranteed slogan is being phased out, and the green check mark. So that's what we just talked about just a second ago. So those are kind of the new changes. So what you should do now, if you want to get set up with Google Local Service Ads, get with your strategy partner on our team. If you want us to do this for you, we're happy to set this up for you as part of our program that we do to really help tree service companies grow. We've got 3 different growth programs for tree service companies, digital marketing programs and offline marketing programs. But you can also sign up just by going to this link here, or easiest way, just go to Google, search Google Local Service Ads, and then hit search. And you'll find the link right there. Complete your background checks, setup of your account, and all that good stuff. Put the tracking in place so you can gauge the return on investment. Be sure that you're leveraging the platform to close the jobs, message leads, responding to leads, all that stuff. And maximize your budget as long as the ROI makes sense. Might as well just maximize the budget on there. But again, this is our digital dominance method, and this is one of the biggest parts of it. It's number 2 under the paid ads, right next to the foundation, SEO, reviews, ratings, all that stuff, right? So number 2 are your paid ads. And again, this is going to be a big, huge increase in lead flow for most tree service companies. Now, if you've only got 3 reviews, 5 reviews, you need at least 5 reviews on your Google business profile before your local service ad account will go live. But just make it a point to work on reviews every single day, proactively, without fail. It's just that diligence that's going to help you get up there. So it's a big, huge factor. So if you guys have any questions, if you guys want us to take care of this for you, we offer a free online marketing plan review. There's no strings attached. We're not going to put any pressure on you. We just kind of go through where you're at now, what it looks like, and where you want to go in the future. But you can give our call in office. Give us a call at the office at 770-637-3707. Happy to book you there. Or you can go to our website, treeservicedigital.com, and we have a form you can fill out to request an appointment and fill out the appointment there. And and also, if you're still on the call and you want a copy of our free book, just go to treeservicedigital.com and you can type it. There's a link towards the bottom of the page. Get the new free book. You click on it, you put your information in. We'll be happy to mail you out a copy of this free book, The Accelerated Growth Roadmap for Tree Service Companies. Everything you need to know to grow your tree service business. So give us a call if you got any questions, pop them in. If not, that's fine too. Hope everybody got some value out of this free training. We will have the replay up early next week. Hope you have an amazing Labor Day weekend. Have fun with friends and family. Stay safe, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks so much.